Hey everyone, welcome to Master on Tech. If you're new here, welcome aboard. Today we're going to be checking out the LTC GM022 wireless mouse. This is a lightweight ergo design. It does have a magnetic dock that you can attach it to for charging, and on the dock, it does have a USB port on it. Usually you put the dongle into it, but you don't have to, and you can use that as a extra close USB port as well. So guys, it's going to be a good one. This is going to be really interesting to see how everything works. So sit back, relax, let's hop into it. All right, and here it is, the LTC gaming mouse. And as you can see here on the front, it does have that dock I was referring to. Here on the back, it does have a QR code for support. And, you know, I love the packaging. It shows what it has. It shows what it is. Very minimalistic. They don't have to use a whole lot for the packing material itself and what's on it. I do love the quick start guide. It has great diagrams and shows you just everything that you need to know. And also the different modes. We'll go look at that here in a little bit for more detail. And here's that dock I was talking about. It does have some sticky pads on the bottom that you can remove if you want to, but it will slide around depending on how much you use it and the pressure that you put onto it when you drop the mouse on it. But it's there if you just want to adhere it to your desk. But now let's check out the ergo design, this lightweight mouse itself, what all it has, which again, it's pretty minimalistic as everything is so far with this design. It is nice. You see the contacts on the bottom and the little hatch on the bottom, which we'll look into that in a little bit. And lastly, underneath, we do have the USB cable that comes with it for charging and connecting it to the computer. And then in this little extra baggie, there are some extra skates, which we'll look at that here later. They actually are designed to be removed. Now, this is just your standard USB-A to USB-C. It is a cloth braided cable, so it is really nice. It's not really going to get tangled up. And here on the quick start guide, this has all the information that you need to know. You can do it wired, 2.4 wireless mode, and Bluetooth if you would like. And then the quick start guide for what all the buttons do and everything along with the base as well. Now, speaking of that base, this is the magnetic base for charging. You have the two pins right there in the middle. That's where you drop the mouse on with the contacts that are on the bottom of the mouse. You have the RGB lighting button. You can have it on or off. It just does a rotating RGB with it. And you do have that one USB port in the front. And usually, and at least for what I do, I put the USB dongle in there for the wireless, which you can find underneath the little hatch. But you do have on the bottom here, you have those gold contacts, which is where it charges from. Or you can charge it with the USB on the front of the mouse as well. And you just drop it on. The magnet itself is strong enough to hold it on there. I think it could be a little bit stronger just because with it sliding on and off just a little bit too easily. But I think for what it is, considering you're supposed to adhere the base to your desk, then it's not really a problem. But if you don't want to adhere it, it may move around a little bit as far as once it's on there. But overall, it's super clean. It's a nice design. Again, very different than most mouses, but so you have the option to use the dock, or you can plug it in directly, as I mentioned earlier. But if you look here on the bottom as well, you can see the little door, and that's where you can store your USB dongle. A lot of wireless mouses tend to forget this function, to where if you're traveling or if you're going around, you can sometimes lose these little dongles, and sometimes in some brands they're not exactly replaceable. So I really like they also keep a little hatch for it so you can keep it safe while you're traveling. Now again, as I mentioned, it's a bit of an ergo design. It does fit the curvature of your hand really nicely. And then here we can see the feet that I was also referring to earlier. They are replaceable. Here on the sides you can see the little divots as I'm pulling off the hatch, so you can see just how deep everything is for that USB dongle to sit in. Those feet are replaceable. And so with those replaceable little notches, you can get up underneath them and you're able to replace it if you wear those out. The mouse does come with a PAW 3395 sensor, which does have 26,000 DPI, that 1,000 polling rate, 650 IPS tracking, and also 50G acceleration. And then here's on the underside again, all the gold contacts where everything goes onto. Would like to see, like I said, just a little bit stronger magnets to go with these. It does slide around. It doesn't just lock on like I would expect it to. But then again, this is a new design. This is a new way to charge your mouse in some cases. So I think a first revision of this mouse, so far, I'm quite in love with everything that it can do. As you can see here, this is that RGB a little bit at the bottom. And it does have one LED just nested in between your left and right. And you can tell if it's in Bluetooth mode, if it's pairing, or what the battery is, which we'll go over a little bit of the colors and for the battery once we get into the software. But let's go ahead and check out the weight for the mouse itself. Now, on their website, they do say the weight of this mouse is 55 grams. I was measuring about 58. Now, with the dock itself, that also measures around 71 grams. And then altogether, it's about 130 grams with everything all said and done together. So pretty right on par with what it is as far as the weight goes of their advertising. So kudos to that. Now let's go ahead and check out the sound for how loud it is. So far, it's looking like nothing over really 60 decibels. And again, that's really just right in front of the sound meter. So just to kind of have a good reference point for if you're holding it and you're right next to it. There is a somewhat significant click to it, but nothing too crazy. Nowhere near the loudest mouse we've checked out so far. Now we're going to go ahead and check out the software here and everything that you can do with it. Being that this is a bit of a minimalist mouse, there's not a whole lot of RGB functions, so it is pretty simplistic. But first we can check out the DPI settings where we can have multiple settings that we can cycle through. We can also turn them on or off as far as if you want them to still be in the mix. You do have the option to change the colors on the DPI, so if you want it to be slightly different, you can also get that to just be closer to what you would like it to be. Now, as far as the polling rate, that's kind of the most important part. Some mouses can go higher than others, but this one can go all the way up to 1,000 hertz on the polling rate. And I do love the little touch that they have here with the naming of these modes for esports mode, gaming mode, office mode, and just kind of your regular Joe Schmo mode. So, love it. So people can get a quick reference of what they would exactly want those speeds to be. You may not need the highest polling rate all the time. If you turn that down, you might get a little bit extra battery life on that. But overall, I do like that it does give a quick reference for that. The mouse LOD, or liftoff distance, is the distance to which the mouse will stop tracking once it's off the surface. You do have 1 millimeter and 2 millimeter. You do have the bounce time. Generally allows you to do more clicks per second, in which case, if you lower that all the way down, you can register multiple clicks with a single mouse click. And the mouse parameters as well, which that just takes you over to the Windows mouse control panel if you want to change the sensitivity of the mouse and all those types of things instead of doing it in software. Next, we have the power manager. There's not a whole lot of things to configure here, and you can build profiles as I have done here. You can have the lighting off while moving the mouse, or the motion to wake off as well. And you can create, the multiple combinations of that. Not really sure why there's 3 profiles. I guess you could have all of them combined, the different versions and variants of it. But with just 2 settings, I don't think that's necessarily needed, but it is a nice little feature. So if they do expand on features later on, that would be nice to be able to have those profiles already baked in. And of course, right above that, you can see, as they call it, electricity. That's going to be your battery. You do have sufficient, normal, and insufficient for your range, and that will show on the little LED in between the mouse itself. And also we can change the key assignments. You have the left, right, middle, forwards, backwards already set. I do like how some of these configurations are very specific to gaming and also productivity. You have to where you can change your DPI, key fire, triple click, macros, key combinations, multimedia, play, pause, start, all those things. But I think the interesting ones here is the Microsoft Office, where you have copy, paste, new, save, print. And then you also have Windows management as well for my computer, desktop, run even, to go ahead and open that, are some nice key features instead of having to do the baked-in Windows key combinations to make those come up. Now, of course, as we talked about, there are macros. This is going to be your run-of-the-mill standard macro editor where you can create a profile for a specific macro. And then you can also input your keys here, as I've put in a couple of those. You can also edit some keys if you hit the wrong one. You can also do a insert key. You can do a different delay if you'd like it to, or you can change the key combination. And then once you do the insert for that key, it just changes it. And so if your milliseconds need to be timed a little bit better or tuned up a little bit, you can do that. And then also you can have it cycle until the key presses or releases. And so you can have that automatically insert the delay. Or if you want to tune that yourself, you're more than happy to do so. If you don't like something, just go ahead and delete it out. And then once you're done, it automatically saves those macros. And then you go back into it. You can select the macro to that button. And also, a fun little feature that I do quite enjoy as looking at everything is that it saves. For every action you do, it just goes ahead and does it. A lot of times you can make a lot of adjustments to a mouse in some softwares, and then you do all the work, and you forgot to hit save, and then you have to do it all over again. So I like that this one also has an autosave for everything you do, and then if you just did way too much work, way too much, and you've just gotten your mouse all out of whack, you could just go ahead and do the restore to factory default, and it's back to normal. All your macros are gone, all your things are set back to where they should be, and then everything is back under where it should be, just out of the box. But guys, honestly, I think this mouse is great. It's a great new design. I like that in general. I can just pop it onto the charging dock. It magnetically connects, and then if I need it, I go ahead and pull that off, and I'm able to just get back to work or get back to gaming. And so if I take a short little break and pop it on there, it takes about 3 hours to get a full charge on this thing. So it's not too bad. If you get it on there for about 15 minutes, you should be good for another couple of hours of gaming. So it's not too bad, but I would love to see maybe in a second revision some fast charging and a little bit stronger magnet to make sure it stays on there if it maybe gets bumped around or something like that. Just some quality of life features. But so far, I think the design of it feels great in the hand. I think it does good. And I think you guys should be able to check it out with the link down in the description. You go ahead and see what you want to do with that. And there's an extra promotional code as well. If you guys check the link down in the description, you guys can get an extra 10% off by using that link for me as well. So go ahead and make sure you're using that or the promo code down below, and you guys can get an extra bit of discount. It normally runs about $50, but you guys can get that extra discount by clicking it down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like and do all the things that you know that you'd like to do to be up to date with some more videos that'll be coming out from me as well. And until next time, guys, you have a good one, and I'll be here with another fun find, either that's been sent to me or from Crazy Hot Finds, because that's the series that I find. I go to Amazon bin stores and I find some crazy tech as well. If you haven't checked it out, there'll be a playlist on the channel as well if you want to check those out. And you guys have a lovely day and or evening, and I'll see you in the next one.